Perfect. Good morning. Thank you everyone for being here. I'm super excited. This is our first MAPS University workshop. I don't know, I lost count number of baby that it's born. I have been dreaming on launching this project ever since my oldest son was like 5 or 6 years old. So I'm super excited to be able to share these with everybody. And what we're gonna do to start is that I want you guys to really sink in on what it takes for you to earn your first $1 million. And we are going to talk about how you guys are going to be able to get to that if you are surrounded by people who haven't earned $1 million yet, or if your family members haven't been able to get to that point. Well, let me tell you that the past does not guarantee the future. So you guys are gonna be the first, just because you guys woke up so early today on a Sunday, to be here to understand money, to understand your life. You're not gonna have to depend on anybody. And just know that your parents and your family members have done the best that they can with the information that they know. Our parents have done the most amazing job of raising us and giving us shelter, giving us food, giving us the beginning of our lives. But that does not depend that we have to follow on their footsteps, or that we have to believe their beliefs. You guys are gonna be the first ones to know this recipe. And when I say the first ones, this is something that it's not a secret that is kept for the rich. This is a secret that is kept for the ones that are hungry. When we are comfortable, when we're too comfortable, we don't seek opportunities, and we don't want to, like, it doesn't matter if it's there or if it's not there. There's a bunch of books, there's a bunch of information. You guys have the internet. Like, you guys have the biggest problem in, like, any generation. You guys have way too much information. That's the biggest problem, that when we have a lot of information, we don't know what decision to take or what to do or where to go. There's so many options. And the reality is that we want it to be like most of the new generation want that decision to be the perfect decision. And in life doesn't work like that. You guys are here, you guys were born to grow. And growth means that you have to have learning experiences. And unfortunately, we grew up thinking that failing is something bad. You don't want to fail. That's one of the biggest lies of life. You have to freaking fail. Because if you don't fail, you're not going to learn. Your parents can tell you all they want about don't do this or do that, or this is what's going to happen. At the end of the day, you got to learn your own way. And that's just life. That's just experience. So the ones that are very hungry to have a different lifestyle, when I'm an immigrant, and when I had my first son, I was 18. And ever since he was born, I made the decision. I didn't have the money. I did not have the money. But when I had the baby in my arms, I said, he's not going to go to public school. He's going to go to the best programs. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but he's not going to public school. We live in Oakland. Those of you who know Oakland, you know what I'm talking about. Said he's not going to go to public school. I was only 18 years old. I made the decision that he was not going to have the lifestyle that I had or that other people around me had. And I made that decision. So whatever it is that you want to accomplish in life, I don't know how old you are, but at the end of the day, the key to success is not coming from rich parents, of hitting the lottery. The key here is that you make the decision of what you want. And that is the biggest obstacle that you guys have, because like I said, you have the internet. And because you have the internet, you have a lot of information. So I'm going to start with you, Avelino. Please read out loud this slide and just read it consciously. Just really mean what you're reading, okay?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so here are a few ways to make $1 million. So salary of 50K for 20 years, salary of 100K for 10 years, salary of 250K for 4 years, earn $114 per hour every hour of the year. 5,000 people buy a $200 product. 2,000 people buy a $500 product. 10,000 people buy a $100 product. 1,000 people buy a $1,000 product. 5,000 people pay $17 per month for 12 months. 2,000 people pay $42 per month for 12 months. 1,000 people pay $83 per month for 12 months. 500 people pay $167 per month for 12 months. And then 300 people pay $278 per month for 12 months.
Perfect. Thank you. Alondra, you're next.
Okay, what am I reading? Can you read all of it?
You're going to read the whole thing. You're going to read it all over
Okay.
again. The whole thing.
Okay. Salary of 50,000.
We'll start with the line in the top.
Okay. Here are a few ways to make $1 million. Salary of 50,000 for 20 years. Salary of 100,000 for 10 years. Salary of 250,000 for 4 years. Earn $114 per hour every hour of the year. 5,000 people buy a $200 product. 2,000 people buy a $500 product. 10,000 people buy a $100 product. 1,000 people buy a $1,000 product. 5,000 people buy $17. 5,000 people pay $17 per month for 12 months. 2,000 people pay $42 per month for 12 months. 1,000 people paid $83 per month for 12 months. 500 people pay $167 per month for 12 months. And 300 people pay $278 per month for 12 months.
Perfect. Thank you, Alondra. Areli?
Hi.
You're next. I want you to read it again, just the way they did it, please. And then Alan, you're next after Areli.
Okay, my internet is like failing sometimes, but I'm going to try. Salary 50K for 20 years. Salary 100K for 10 years. Salary 50K for 4 years. Earn 114 per hour every hour of the year. 5,000 people buy a 200 product. 2,000 people buy a 500 product. 10,000 people buy a 100 product. 1,000 people buy a 100 product. 5,000 people pay 70 per month for 12 months. 2,000 people pay 42 per month for 12 months. 1,000 people pay 83 per month for 12 months. 500 people pay 167 per month for 12 months. 300 people pay 2,078 per month.
Thank you, Areli. I know your connection kind of goes on and off, but we did hear most of it. Thank you. Alan, you're next. You need to read the whole thing since the beginning, please. And I don't see you. Now I can't hear you. Hello?
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so start from the top and read it like you mean it. Really understand what you're reading, please.
Here are a few ways to make $1 million. Salary 50K for 20 years. Salary 100K, 10 years. Salary 250K, 4 years. Earn $114 per hour every hour of the year. 5,000 people buy a $200 product. 2,000 people buy a $500 product. 10,000 people buy a $100 product. 1,000 people buy a $1,000 product. 5,000 people pay $17 per month for 12 months. 2,000 people pay $42 per month for 12 months. 1,000 people pay $83 per month for 12 months. 500 people pay $167 per month for 12 months. 300 people pay $278 per month for 12 months.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Avelino, what do you think? What were you thinking when you were listening? Like when you read it, and then Alondra, and then Areli, and then Alan, you listened to this like 3 times, plus the time that you read it. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Like as to the actual, the stuff, or what do you mean?
Yeah, about this information.
I mean, it's good information. I mean, it just puts it into simplicity, that making $1 million isn't pretty simple, I guess. I mean, it's not simple, but it's not hard.
When you actually look at the numbers and do the
Yeah.
math.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Alondra, what about you? What do you think? Now that you read it and you listened to the other ones reading it again.
The numbers don't sound too crazy to me. Like I would think that it was like way crazier, but they don't sound too crazy.
Nice. So when you know the last one that says 300 people pay 278 per month for 12 months. Like someone like 5,000 people buy a $200 product.
Yeah. It doesn't sound crazy at all.
Nice. That's what I was looking for. Like I was looking for that. I'm like, well, it's not a lot when you really think about it. It's not like to become a millionaire this new generation, you guys have to become millionaires. There's no other option to be even financially stable. I'm not even saying financially free, you guys. Financially stable. If you don't want to depend on the government, if you don't want to depend on your parents, if you don't want to live with your parents when you get married or when you start having your children, you have to become a millionaire. The bottom line. Because the cost of living here in the US, just the cost to maintain a household, I don't even want to go to the numbers right now, but the main reason why I wanted to start with this slide, it's because I wanted to make you aware that earning $1 million, it's not impossible. It's not impossible. If you have beliefs of money, that there's not enough money or that it's very difficult to earn money, that's because you don't know the math and you haven't seen it. And most of us are surrounded by people that are living paycheck to paycheck. And we don't see how we can, we don't see how we can make it happen because we're not surrounded by people who are making $1 million. Until you surround yourself with people that are making what you want to make, you're going to realize it's not as hard. But as you're surrounding yourself with people who are not making it, you're going to believe that it's not possible. I'm going to share with you guys this short video, and I am going to ask you guys what it actually means.
3 skills you want to give your kids, and you want these 3 skills if you want to succeed for the rest of your life. First is you have to be able to recognize patterns. It won't matter what the jobs are, won't matter what the business is. If you can recognize patterns, you have an edge. Things look like chaos until you recognize there's a pattern to things. If you can recognize patterns, you can change your life, because once you recognize patterns, you get the second skill. You learn to use patterns. Getting yourself to do the things you don't want to do. It's called discipline, but discipline's a heavy word. What it really is just creating a new pattern. Once it's a habit, it doesn't take discipline, it's easy. If you understand the patterns and recognize them and you can use them, you have real power. The third skill is to be able to create patterns. You want to recognize them, use them, and create them. The most successful entertainers, the most successful business people, the most successful musicians, they create new patterns. They build on what they learn from others. That's what you're doing in this business. If you have children, there's 3 skills.
Alan, what does that mean? What is he talking about? What did you understand?
I took away that that discipline doesn't really mean discipline. It's just a new way of making patterns.
And what is a pattern?
Like steps. Like
Hmm.
getting somewhere.
Okay. And what does that has to do with whatever you want to do in your life?
When it's important to have a pattern of where you want to go, because if you don't have anywhere where you want to go, then you're just lost.
That's good. Thank you. As I share here the slide, this is a pattern. If you understand what you need to do and for how long you have to do it, it's easier to get to where you want to go. If you don't have a map, if you don't have a guide, that's when we start feeling anxious and we start feeling fear that we're not going to make it. And I'm going to repeat what I said at the beginning. Your parents have done the best that they can with what they have. Now it's your responsibility to make a change. It's not their responsibility. It's your responsibility to change. They have tried their best and they didn't know the formula. I'm giving you guys the formula, but here's now how are we going to take action? It's just looking at the patterns. It's just looking at the habits that you currently have unconsciously. It just starts with the patterns. Okay. So to start off, I want to show you guys something that I want to bring your awareness of this topic that is very, very, very important. So $1 million is this. Okay, so this guy right here, look down and there's $1 million. $1 billion, this is what it represents, $1 billion. You can still see the man, right? But $1 trillion, are you guys able to see the guy? You're not able to see the guy. So there's a huge difference between a million, a billion, and a trillion. And why am I sharing you guys this? The US, the amount of money that has been printed, literally, when parents said money doesn't grow on trees, well, it actually does, because it's paper that it gets printed, okay? The US printed almost $4 trillion in 2020 during the pandemic. 4 times this right here. 4 times. I want you guys to really sink in. If you really want to have the car, if you really want to go to school, if you really want to work, if you're tired, sick and tired of your parents and you want to move out, you have to understand what I'm talking about. You have to understand that. Okay? So in 2020, the US printed almost 4 times this. What is that? Why does that matter? It matters for the following reason. This is the US table, the history of US tax. This is how much tax was charged in the US in the previous years. The highest tax bracket in 1962 was 91%. On the 1970s, it was 70%. When people say that we're paying too much taxes, they haven't read the history of the tax table years ago. Most of us came from immigrant parents from other countries, which that means that they themselves don't understand the history of money here or where to invest. And the most common advice that we get, save, be conservative, don't risk. The most conservative advice that we get from our parents is just be conservative. Don't take risks. Risks are bad. Don't risk it. But in this country, if we really understand the history, the only way to create wealth is through risking your money, investing your money. But because our parents don't understand that, we're following on the same footsteps. And again, I'm not blaming parents. We're giving them thanks because for them, we're here. But we gotta understand that it is our responsibility to change those patterns, to change those beliefs if we wanna get ahead in life, okay? So, because they don't understand the American system, they cannot give us any other advice but just to save and don't take risk, and save under the mattress or on your savings account and don't risk your money. But when we look at the amount of money that these governments have printed, and what does that actually mean? What does that actually mean? The only way that the future, because the government cannot keep on printing money. The biggest advantage that we have in this country is that the government has the authority to change the tax bracket anytime they want. And I'm gonna give you guys a really bad news. You guys are gonna pay the price of what happened with COVID and what happened through all history. Tony Robbins, Dr. Joe Dispenza, all these amazing coaches, mentors, and successful people are working very hard to create programs for the youth, for you guys, because you guys are gonna have to clean up the mess that we left. We're gonna die. We're gonna go to a better place, and you guys are gonna have to deal with it. That's the reality of it. You guys are gonna have to deal with it. Your kids are gonna have to deal with it. And this is why I'm so passionate about sharing this information and asking you guys to look at education with different eyes. The only way out to be financially stable, it's through education. I don't care if you don't like school. School is one thing, education is another one. You cannot go through life being ignorant about this stuff, because guess what? You're gonna go to work. You're gonna go to work and you're gonna think that you're gonna get 100% of your paycheck, and good news, you're only getting 50% of your paycheck. Those are that are employees, or that they're thinking that you're gonna go to work for somebody else. Or if you have your own small business or you work on your own and you don't wanna pay taxes, you're gonna be looking for deductions, or you're not gonna wanna report anything. But guess what? If you don't report anything, you're not gonna be able to buy anything. You're not gonna be able to invest anything, because in paper, you don't make any money. And in the next class that we're gonna have, I'm gonna talk to you guys about the actual tax. And how does the tax look on your pay stub? And how does the tax look on your taxes? Because that's gonna depend whether you're gonna have opportunities in life or you're not gonna have opportunities in life. You can't go through life being ignorant about this stuff, because you're gonna whine and complain and cry, and what's worse, you're gonna have to keep on living with your parents if you're not able to afford a house to move out on your own. So it's just a way for me to give you guys a wake-up call now, because you guys have the power to make a change. So why is this tax table so important? Because it tells you that At any time, the government can raise the taxes to solve the problem of this printing money. Look, this is another lie that I'm pretty sure you guys have heard. Oh, when you do your taxes, we get money back. Oh, don't go with that person. Go with this person because this person gives you more money back when you file taxes. Maybe you hear your parents saying like, oh, I'm going to get so much money back, or, oh, I'm going to have to pay. The reality is that the money comes out of somebody's pocket. It does not come from the sky or the government. Okay, so if we paid in the taxes and we have deductions, then we're gonna get money back. But if we don't, the money doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from the pocket of somebody, and that somebody, it's gonna be you guys in the future. There's gonna be no Social Security, no pensions, because companies are not. If you look at the mortality table, how old, Alondra, do you remember how old was your grandma when she passed? Around what age?
80 something?
80 something, okay? If you guys work up until age 62 and your life expectancy is 82, that's 20 years. How are you going to support yourself for those 20 years? Are you guys getting my point? It's making and realizing that at the end of the day, you guys are going to pay what we have done and what everybody in this era we're doing. And if you realize that the taxes is something that it's not going to go away, because guess what? We are able to go to the mall without worries. Kids are able to drive from San Francisco to LA with no worries that there's gonna be like something bad. There's other countries that don't have the freedom that we have, and that comes with the price. And that price are the taxes, okay? So this is the history of the, oh, and then by the way, I skipped this slide and I wanna show it again. Sorry, that was the first one. Anyways, difference between million, a billion, and a trillion. A million seconds is 12 days. A billion second is 32 years. A trillion seconds is 31,688 years. I know you guys don't have children now and you don't care about your future children, but there's going to be the point where you're going to have children, you're going to care for them. I'm saying this stuff, it's not staying or ending with your generation. It's going to continue. And only 5% of the population knows this secret because they're hungry. They woke up on a Sunday morning to learn about this stuff. Everybody else is comfortable. Right? Okay, so let's keep on going. Let's look at the difference. Let's look at the difference of investing tax-free versus paying tax. So let's say you save $1 every year for the next 20 years, and you educate yourself and you understand investments, and you're able to duplicate $1 every year. When you don't pay taxes on that dollar in 20 years could be worth $1,048,576. If you pay a 33% tax in that money, you're only gonna have $28,466.20. I had a client who retired at age 62. He worked for waste management, and his philosophy of life was not taking risk. I want my money to be safe. I don't want to risk. He retired at age 62. He still had a mortgage. He was still paying his house. He had his adult children living with him still. And he only had $100,000 on his retirement account. In the Bay Area, in California, we need at least 60, between 50 to 60 grand just for living expenses a year. How long do you guys are thinking that he was gonna be able to live if we have a life expectancy of 80 something, 70 something with 100,000? 100,000 is nothing. We need millions just to have an okay life, not even thinking about having luxuries, just to live an okay life. And that brings me to the first question, Avelino. What does philosophy mean to you? Like when we talk about my client had this philosophy of life, what does philosophy mean to you? Or what does it mean? What do you think it means in general?
It's a great question. I think that philosophy is ultimately the study of ideas, ideas and questions. Because philosophy is ultimately what somebody believes, like you said, right? That guy Billet had a certain belief about money. So yeah, I think philosophy it's ultimately right. The actual definition, right, is that's the study of ideas, basic ideas. That's the actual definition. But I see it as a way of being able to question your own beliefs. Because the better questions that you can ask, the better life that you can ultimately live. So yeah, that's how I see it.
Give me an example. What is what do you think your perception? Because my son, I'm very proud to say that he's well educated. So he's very analytical. So when I talk to him, it's like he's very analytical. To use very specific words with him. So what would you say is your perception? I know you cannot talk for me or your dad, but what would you say has been our philosophy when it comes down to money or life throughout you growing up and looking at us? What do you think what do you think is our philosophy of money or life?
I think you guys had that philosophy of scarcity in the beginning when you first started out your career, that you weren't gonna say you were gonna save all the money. It's basic. And then you guys learned that having that mindset of scarcity, when you have a mindset of scarcity, there's never going to be enough.
What does scarcity mean?
Like a limit, like there's not how do I say it? Like a lack of something.
Okay, give me an example when parents talk to children in a way of not having enough. Give me an example.
Well, it's like not enough money. Like people who say that, oh yeah, we don't have enough money saved. We don't have enough money in the account yet to go this place or to go to that place. That's the mindset of scarcity of a limit.
And then, sorry that I interrupted.
Wait, what was the question that you asked? I forgot.
You were saying that we started with a scarcity mindset.
Oh yeah. But the thing is that I think you guys realize that at the point that when you get to a mindset of scarcity, you can never have enough because you're constantly saving and there's never a number that is going to satisfy that mindset of scarcity. So I think that's what hit you guys, is that if you continue to believe this way, there's never a limit. There's never going to be enough. You guys are always going to want more in that account. You know what I mean?
You know when that changed, I remember when I got my papers and I was able to travel, and I told my husband, let's go to Cancun, and he's like, what is that? Where is that? How much does that cost? Like, I want to go, I want to take Belly. Alan was just born. And we realized we didn't have enough money to go. And I realized how bad I wanted to go. Anyways, that's another story, but keep going. And
You
then
still went, but it's okay.
And then what happened? What happened to us?
You guys took risk, and you took the risk, and you saw that. I guess you didn't see the payoff right away, but you ultimately saw that it does have a payoff. But it's a lot riskier, to take risk when you already have a family that you gotta provide for versus, someone like me who doesn't have a family. Like it's a great opportunity to take much more risk when you're younger versus when you've already got a full family.
Now, give me an example of philosophy of your peers at school. Okay, here, this is three different groups. Okay, philosophy of life. Philosophy, what are your beliefs about life, about money? Philosophy of your high school friends that didn't go to college that are working right now. The philosophy of your college friends that are going through school right now, and the philosophy of your work peers, the people that you're surrounded by right now at work. What would you say is the main difference between those three groups on their philosophies of life and money?
Uh, I think that it all starts with what we all want for our own life, whether that be the meaning, right? That's ultimately what it starts with, which is what ultimately depends on what someone's dreams are. You know what I mean? Some people's dreams is just to be, comfortable, have a home, have a family, and that's completely fine. Some people that's what they want. And then there's some people who want to make $1 million, or some people who want to make $1 trillion. The meaning of life compared to that person to the other person is going to be completely different. Some people just want a simple life, and there's nothing wrong with that. And then some people want to have this extravagant life to be able to do whatever they want. And then that's where there's a difference in, I guess you can call it purpose, and then dreams, and then goals, and whatever it is, you know? So, a lot of the friends that I have, they all have different goals. A lot of them, like one of my friends, he's a Christian, and he's very heavy on religion, and his goal is to travel the world and do mission trips where he helps different people all around the world. And that's great. That's what he wants to do, and that's what his mission is. Versus I have another friend who's more entrepreneurial and wants to make a lot of money to live a good life. And there's nothing wrong. Like that's great. We all have our own goals, we have our own dreams, and yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a great thing. So
So what I'm hearing from you is that the people that are you surrounded with have goals.
yeah, I think we all ultimately
Different goals, different goals. Alondra, I'm gonna ask you to chip in here. Have you noticed or have you heard of goals with your friends your high school friends that didn't go to college, and your college friends that are in college with you right now? What do you think in terms of what Avelino's saying in terms of goals?
Um, I mean, yeah, everybody has their own goals. And also, even within college, like you have people that go just for 2 years. You have people that go for 4 years. We have people that are trying to be doctors. And like I said, everybody has, or like Belly said, everybody has different values, different goals that they want to get to. I also have friends that tried college. They said they were going to work for a little bit and go back to college, and they didn't go back. So, you know, it all just really depends on your values, I guess, and where
What
you
is
really want to get to.
what is it at this point? What do you think it's in your generation? What is the meaning of a goal in your generation? Like, do you think based on what you have learned so far, like the definition of a goal for generation? Is it crystal clear knowing where you're going and how you're gonna get there? Or what do you think it's the real definition of a goal?
Um, I think yes. And but adding on to that is also like accomplishments. I don't know if I could
Mhm.
add on to that. I feel like more for me it's accomplishments. other than, yeah.
And what would you say it's the accomplishment of goals when it comes down to money? What is the beliefs or what is it that you hear from your peers when you guys are referring in terms of money?
Make enough to be able to live good.
And why are you laughing? What do you believe about that? I love that. So why are you laughing?
Because it's like we're setting like, I feel like a low standard. I feel like that's kind of low. I was looking at the numbers, I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of low. I feel like we could all do it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I really love how she laughed, we're like just making enough to get together. That is really, really good. That's really good. Thank you guys for sharing. Okay, so the next slide that I want to share with you is this. And Avelino have seen this because this is something that my amazing coach Tony Robbins talks to us all the time. Okay, we have two different scenarios. We have Joe and we have Bob. Joe starts investing at age 19. He saves $300 per month and leaves it to a compound in a tax-free environment at 10% per year, meaning that he earns 10% on his $300 compound every year. Listen to this. He stops investing at age 27. His total investment was $28,800. By the time he's 65, he's gonna have $1,863,287 tax free. He only saved from age 19 to age 27. He only put away 28,000. Okay? And at age 65, he has tax-free $1,863,287. Now let's look at Bob. Bob didn't start it until he was age 27. He also saved $300 per month. He also put it into an account that is tax-free, so he doesn't have to pay taxes when he takes it out. And he also earns 10% per year. He stops investing at age 65. His total investment was $140,000, and he has 1.5 million. He has less. He invested for 38 years. So Bob had to invest for 38 years to get less than what Joe got. Joe only had to invest for 8 years. At age 19, he started. He stopped at age 27, and he has more than Bob. Alondra, what do you think about that?
The difference is crazy. I mean, the numbers, the ages, too.
Yeah. Now the question is, do you think that it's possible for you at this age start saving $300 a month? Do you think it's possible for you where you are right now, what you're doing right now? Do you think it's possible?
I want to say yes, because if I really wanted to, I feel like I could do it. But
That's what I was waiting for, the famous what?
I know.
I love that expression of you.
Yeah, I mean, I've got college, I've got rent, I've got
Uh-huh.
you know, other responsibilities. But I feel like if I really wanted to, I feel like I could.
Now, next Sunday, not today because I don't have enough time, but next Sunday, I'm going to help you guys get rid of the but and the like how she said it, right? Like, oh, how am I gonna do it? Don't make that face, Avelino. Like, because you can feel like she wants it, but it's like, fuck, I have life in front of me. Like, I have all these stuff that I have to take care of, right? And because you haven't been surrounded by people who are already doing it, it seems like it's too far. In the next class, and not next Sunday, but the 20 something, I'm gonna teach you guys how you can start saving those $300 with the lifestyle that you have right now. And we're not even gonna target $1 million. We're not. 300 times 12 months is $3,600. Next Sunday, I'm going to show you, not next Sunday, but the next class, I'm going to show you guys how to make $3,600. Not $1 million, but those $3,600 are going to make you $1 million. And that requires discipline. That does not look, it does not, we don't need to be millionaires to make millionaires or to earn millionaires. We just need to know the map. That's why it's called Maps University, because we only need a map. That's all you need. For a successful body, you just need to know what to eat and what to work out. That's a map. To graduate college, what do you need, Alondra? To go to your counselor and to tell you exactly a map of what classes you have to take to graduate, right? It's a map. If you really want to have a successful relationship, you have to model and you have to follow the map of somebody that already achieved what you want to achieve. It's that simple. We don't have to recreate the wheel. It doesn't have to be complicated. But again, we're not surrounded by people that have those beliefs and those thoughts. And that's what makes it so impossible to achieve. Alan, I still don't see you, but I'm going to ask you. Alan?
Yeah.
Okay. Read me again the story of Joe and Bob. And when you're done, I want you to tell me what does that mean to you as a 17-year-old.
So Joe starts at age 19. He puts $300. He puts away $300 per month and leaves it into a compound in a tax-free environment at 10% per year. Stops investing at age 27. Total investment to $28,800. By age 65, he has $1,863,287. Bob starts at age 27, puts away $300 per month and leaves it to a compound in a tax-free environment at 10% per year. Stops investing at age 65. Total investment was $1,400.
Not $1,400,
Oh wait, sorry,
$140,000.
$140. And at 65, he has 1.5 million.
Mm-hmm. What does that mean to you?
I mean, I think starting earlier is better than starting later, because Joe made more than Bob, and he like started at a younger age, and that just like to me seems more better than just waiting a longer time. I mean, waiting longer to start investing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, starting sooner is better than starting later.
Okay, can I see you now, please? Because I need to ask you another question.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's see. So the next question that I have for you is, what does it mean to you as a 17-year-old to have a coach, to have a mentor? What does it mean to you?
It's like someone there to help you, to guide you and to lead you in the right way.
Okay. How does that help you? How has that been helping you?
I'm not like lost all the time, and I have like a map on where I want to go.
Good. So now let me ask you a question. What are you doing when you graduate high school?
Going to college.
Going to college. How do you think, or what do you think you can do to save or earn $3,600 in a year so you can be like Joe and you can start saving, investing $3,600 per year while you're in college? What can you do?
Put away $300. Like
How? How are you gonna, how's that money gonna come? It's not gonna come from mom or dad. So you're gonna have to make those $300 come to you every single month. What are you going to do, or how can you make it happen?
The first thing that pops up in my mind is working.
Okay, and what kind of work can you do since you're gonna be going to college?
Just like whatever's like around, finding somewhere to work at, like just a normal job, I guess.
Okay. What's another way that you can earn money besides just getting a normal job?
I can't just say like investing or
Well, you gotta have the money
Yeah.
come to you, right? So you gotta work for the money. So what other stuff can you do?
hmm. Well, I'm just thinking about working.
So why are you going to college? Besides because your mom is making you go, but besides your parents pushing you, why are you going to college?
Because I wanna well, my main goal is play sports in college.
Okay, play sports in college. What does people that play sports in college do to earn a living or make money? What do they do?
Oh, they have a business.
Ah, what do they do? Tell me, what do they do?
Well, they run a business and they make their own brand, and yeah.
So remember the video that I showed you guys about Tony? What did Tony talked about? The first one, the first video that I shared right now. Do you remember? Did you saw it? Yeah, you saw it.
Me?
Yeah,
Oh.
this video.
Oh,
Okay, I'm gonna play it again. And don't go, Alan, because I'm not done with you, boy. Okay, here you go.
Skills you want to give your kids. You have children, there's 3 skills you want to give your kids, and you want these 3 skills if you want to succeed for the rest of your life. First is you have to be able to recognize patterns. It won't matter what the jobs are, won't matter what the business is. If you can recognize patterns, you have an edge. Things look like chaos until you recognize there's a pattern to things. If you can recognize patterns, you can change your life, because once you recognize patterns, you get the second skill. You learn to use patterns. Getting yourself to do the things you don't want to do. It's called discipline, but discipline's a heavy word. What it really is just creating a new pattern. Once it's a habit, it doesn't take discipline, it's easy. If you understand the patterns and recognize them and you can use them, you have real power. The third skill is to be able to create patterns. You want to recognize them, use them, and create them. The most successful entertainers, the most successful business people, the most successful musicians, they create new patterns. They build on what they learn from others. That's what you're doing in this business. If you have children.
Okay, Alan, what's one pattern that you know successful athletes, successful sports people or athletes do well in college? What's one pattern that you know that they do or that you can follow or that you can model while you're going to college?
Wait, can you like say the question again?
So you mentioned that athletes build a brand, build a business, right? And that's how they earn their money. So what can you do while you're in college and you're playing sports to start building your brand, to start building your business? What's one pattern, one habit that they do that you can follow?
Stay disciplined.
Like what? Like how?
Uh, having a pattern on what you want to do, like taking someone for example and like following in their footsteps.
Mm-hmm. So you have your coach that you meet on a weekly basis, your mental coach, and you have gone through several camps where you have received a lot of mental coaching. What's the biggest advice or the biggest takeaways that you have taken from either your weekly coach or the coaches that you have met in terms of mental discipline?
Um, you have to like stay focused and you can't like lag off something.
What do you do to stay focused?
Um, I know what I should do. Like,
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
like you told me a lot to do meditations, so that is something I should do.
And why you should do your meditations?
Wait, you froze.
I know, sorry, but I'm back.
Oh, what'd you say?
Why do you think we're talking to you about meditations?
Because it helps you a lot and helps you focus a lot and give you an idea on what, give you a better idea on what you want to do.
Nice. Thank you, mi amor. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for sharing. I'm gonna let you rest now. Thank you. Okay, so Avelino, you're next. The next question that I have for you is, what's a priority? What is a priority?
Let's see here. What is a priority? It's a good question. A priority is ultimately a level of importance in some sense. It's what it's like going to the gym or sleeping in. It's like, is going to the gym a priority for you? Like how high of a level of importance is that to you, you know? So that's how I see it.
Tony says that we have to pay a price in life. Whether we like it or not, we have to pay a price. We either pay the price of discipline or we pay the price of regret. We either regret of what we didn't do or we celebrate the discipline that we had, okay? Belly, next question. Why did you choose to work in real estate? And why did you choose to work with a particular company? Because you interview several real estate offices. Well, first, why real estate?
Well, if I'm being honest, I got into it because you know, I was gonna work with you. We were gonna do something together, and I was kind of lost. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do business. I just didn't know what. So, you know, I threw myself at it. It's like, what's the worst that can happen, right? If it doesn't work out, at least I learned something new. Um, so I started doing it, and then the first year wasn't very motivated. You know, it was kind of slow year. But then I met Juan, the guy that ultimately introduced me to kinetic real estate. And I think what really sparked, you know, my interest in wanting to go back was that I saw that people, you know, similar to my age were, you know, making, you know, millions of dollars of transactions per month, not even per year, per month. Like there were top producers like in the Bay Area, and they were all telling me, you know, how you're so lucky that you started so young, you have so much time, all this and that. And I was like, if they can do it, why can't I do it? So I think it was the biggest reason I really chose them was the energy. It was just completely different compared to other offices. It's like a big name office, like Keller Williams, whatever. They're well known because they're the big name in real estate, but their environment just wasn't there.
Mm.
So I mean, it didn't matter what they offered. Like they offered all these training and all this and blah blah blah. I knew ultimately that I was going to learn more in the field rather than in the classroom
And how did you know that?
because it's how it is. It's what you told me.
That's what I told you. Okay. And so you mentioned that you chose Kinetic because of the environment, because of the energy.
Yeah.
How many of us do we keep on hanging with the same people even though they drain our energy?
I mean,
How
I used to do
many
it.
of us, how many of us do we have friends or we choose to be around the same negative people, people that does not add any value to our lives? How does that impact at the end of the day our decisions?
Are you asking me?
Mhm.
Oh, I think it's a big thing because I think it's ultimately who you hang around with is who you are. Uh, yeah, I mean it's that simple. There's no need to sugarcoat or overcomplicate. It's just where we hang around is ultimately you take on their patterns, you take on the way they talk, they act, their beliefs. Um, but it's very important. Proximity is very, very important. If you want to be, I don't know, let's say for Allen, right? He wants to play basketball. If he wants to be a successful basketball player, he should be hanging around people who are at a higher level than him. If you want to be, I don't know, like my dad who makes popcorn, right? You should be modeling other people who are, all the way up there, like making like millions and billions of dollars with the popcorn business. So, back to the coach and all you said, right? There's people who've already completed what you wanted to do. You just have to go out there and find out what they did and just model it.
Don't turn off your microphone because I'm gonna go back to you. But Alondra, what does that mean when it comes down to surrounding yourself with other people? Like, what does it mean to you looking at people that are doing something bigger and like you already have your circle of friends or the people that you hang around with? What does that mean to upgrade or to change? That word, it's so heavy. Change, like your mom, like look up to other people, go ask other people, like hang around with different people. What does that mean?
Mm, I think like on a personal level is having the I don't know if it's discipline, the word that I'm looking for, but to want to be better or to literally, like you said, be the change, I guess. But also, because they are friends, it's kind of hard to want to distance yourself, you know?
Mhm.
And I mean, you're having fun, but then you also have like life coming at you, so you need to, really take the reins.
Would it be comfortable to leave your friends? Or what happens when those little comments start saying about you changing and you're changing and you're not doing the same things, you're not the same fun friend, and now you're hanging out with these people? Who do you think you are? Like what are you doing? What do you think? What do you think happens there?
Um, well, I mean, your friends would then say would then say that like I mean, you don't want to be around them anymore. You're changing, again, the word change. Um, you're acting different.
Uh-huh.
When in reality, you're just looking to make or to live a better life, I guess.
But if we're very honest to ourselves, when your friends tell you that stuff, what does that make you do? Does it make you keep going forward or doubt yourself and look back and go back to the old habits or go back to the old you to fit in with what they knew about you? What is most likely going to happen? I mean, in the perfect world, we know we want to keep on going, but we know we don't live in the perfect world. So ultimately, what happens?
I mean, we fall back into it again.
Yep.
It's not as motivating, I guess, to when you hear that. I mean, everybody wants to hear, "Hey, good for you.
Yeah.
I'm here for you." But when you have your friends saying that, then it's like, should I really?
Yeah. And what's worse, then it comes with family. Family
Mhm.
start criticizing. Family starts saying, what do you think he is? Or who do you think she is to do that? She can't do that. So that's a completely different topic. So thank you, Alondra, for sharing. Avelino, you are working in multi-million-dollar deals. You have clients that are purchasing million-dollar homes. You're going out there negotiating a $1.7 million deal by yourself, and you're getting the offer accepted. You have clients that are trusting you with big properties, and you're 21. What do you think about that?
What do I think about that? I mean,
Do you still believe it? Are you believing it now?
if I'm being honest, when I first came to that one the 1.7, that deal that I got into, it didn't really bring a lot of certainty, I guess. Because when you think about it now, it shows me like what I can really do. And then if I ultimately don't do that or even better, it kind of like, oh, I get anxious just thinking about it. I don't know why, but I think it just ultimately starts with faith. Like I believed that I could do it, so I did it.
And what is the difference between our Latino community versus the communities that you're working with that are buying multi-million-dollar properties? Like if we're the whole purpose of us coming together and sharing this information with the new generation on how to make $1 million, how to save without having to pay taxes legally. Like the whole purpose of us coming together today is to share the strategies and the map that other people are using to bring you guys to realize that it's not as hard. Let me go back to this slide. I want to go back to this slide. This is my favorite slide. This is a couple of ways that you can make $1 million. And what was your first expression, Alondra, when you saw that? Tell me again.
Again, how the numbers aren't like that big.
That it's doable.
Yeah.
It's not as crazy. Like you have, Alondra, you just made the belief that it could happen. And it all starts with the belief that if something is possible, guess what? We just planted a seed on your mind about possibilities that you never thought were possible before. And that's what Avelino's talking about faith. He's been like, I forced him through his high school years to go to different programs that he did not want it to go, and I did not care. I still sent him with people that had a completely different mindset about life. They live in a world with opportunities. We only live in the Bay Area or in Los Angeles or in Washington, whatever we live in a freaking bubble, and we don't know what we don't know. So I literally forced him because I made a decision when he was born that he was gonna see a world that I knew it was out there. I didn't have the money. And I had to fight against my husband sometimes. It's like not wasting, but we were paying a lot of money in his education. But we pulled through because we had the belief. Alondra, you have the belief now. So then what do you think is going to happen?
Work for it.
You work for it. Because now
Yeah.
you have a map. Now you have a map. On our next class, I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to show you guys how you can create $300 a month, $3,600 a year. So you can start investing and you can have over $1 million by age 65. And you only have to save 20, like not even 30 grand. But we need to start now. And the belief has to start now. Avelino has been around people that know it could happen. So it gave him the belief. That's why we're starting these classes. That's why we're starting these groups, because I know you guys don't have access to this information. And it's not your parents' fault. They have tried to do the best that they can with what they know. But that does not mean you have to blame them and say, oh, it's just because my mom was like this, or because my dad did this, this is how I am, or this is why I am, because my mom is struggling. Some of my clients and most of my clients that have to come to work with me have realized that they wanted to change their children. But in reality, the one that has to change is the parent. When the parent changes, everything changes. But not all parents are ready. And I'm giving you guys this information because it's your own responsibility for your life, not to be blaming, like, oh my God, my paycheck, they take so much. Oh my God, why? It's not fair. Oh my God, like, I can't afford this and I can't afford that. Like, no. It's because we don't know the math. We don't understand the math. We don't know the map. And what's most important, we don't hang around with people that could see the belief and in the faith. So, Avelino, going back to you, what is the main difference between the communities that you're working with right now that are buying multi-million-dollar properties? What are their beliefs? What are their patterns? What are their habits? What do they think? How do they act? Because trust me, Latinos and us, we are freaking hardworking and we're freaking loyal. Like the most hardworking communities are the Latinos. Just look at the most successful restaurants or businesses. Who are working in the kitchen? Who's doing the maintenance? Who's cleaning the bathrooms? Who's doing the maintenance? Who's doing the landscaping? Who's doing the painting? Who's doing the freaking heavy work? Your parents. Us. Us. Because we don't know this formula. And we don't have this belief because we came with this country. We came to this country with the faith of just working, como, like Alondra said, just to live by, to make a little better, to have food on the table, right? So now that you guys have these formula, and I'm sharing with you guys the map, and this is where what I started when I was saying that Avelino and I want to share these strategies because we know that you don't have, like most of our community don't have access to this information. We invest a lot of money in our education and we take this big risk. And it doesn't have to be like that. We were the first, but we want to give you guys an easier path so you don't have to take as much risk as we had to take. Anyways, Belly, so what's the beliefs? What is the mindset of these people that are purchasing their homes, multi-million-dollar homes? What do you think is the main difference between them and us? Because we're very hardworking too. So hardworking, it's not the main difference because we work really hard too.
Well, that's a great question. Let me see. I think what I've seen in other cultures or other people, what they have is that they're not trying to do it themselves.
Ah.
They they don't do it themselves, and they realize that they're not going to be able to do it themselves. Um, so especially that I've seen that in I believe it's in the Indian community that a lot of the people like when they buy a home or they make a big purchase, it's not just one individual, it's multiple people coming together to ultimately buy one big thing and then they share it. And there's no issue, there's no problem with that because they all, I don't know, they just have a different way that they see, I guess, family, the way they value their values, especially on money, you know. Um, they don't have that mindset of scarcity that, oh, you got to pay me back or, oh, you owe me this money. It's like, no, I mean, yeah, he might owe you money, but is it worth starting a big old problem about $10, to start a big old fight over like, a small amount of money, you know what I mean? So I think that's the biggest difference that I've seen is that, that they can't do it alone and they're okay with it not being able to do it alone. And
Mm.
with, the Latino community, I think it's that we all, I mean, even me, right? Like I used to have this mindset that I wanted to do it alone, that I could do it alone. And ultimately, you're not going to be able to do it alone.
Wow. That's very powerful. Why do you have a mentor and what is a mentor?
Mentor, it's someone who's already achieved what you want to achieve, someone who's already paved the path of, for me, can be a successful real estate realtor. So that's what a mentor is ultimately someone who's already gone through the difficult roads, who's gone through the rejections, who's gone through the bad and the good.
Why do you have a mentor? Why you chose to have a mentor? Because it was a choice. It was not obligated. Why did you chose to have a mentor? For you, why?
To avoid um as to avoid those difficult roads. I mean, there's already people who's walked it, who's already done the trial and error, and there's no need for you to do it too. Just do what they did.
And what is the biggest advice that you have learned from your coaches or with your coach that you're working with, your mental coach right now that you're working? What's the biggest advice that you have taken from him, especially from him, because you're working mostly on the mental side of it?
So you're saying what's the biggest advice I've learned? I've gotten
Mm-hmm. Or biggest takeaway, maybe?
gotten a
Or
lot of
moment?
gotten a lot of advice. It's difficult to pick one.
The first one that comes to mind.
I think what I think about as the biggest advice I've gotten is that um it's better to start even if you don't know what you're doing, compared to not doing anything. So sometimes when I feel stuck or when I, don't know what to do, I just do something, even if I have no idea what I'm doing. Because it's better than just being there, because at least you're getting somewhere and you're learning something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
Do you remember how old were you when you had your first coach or when you first started working with this mindset? Do you remember how old were you?
I was a youngin'. I don't know.
What do you think back then? That your mom was crazy? That was forcing you to do all of this?
Yeah, I was. I'm not gonna lie, yeah.
What do you think Alan thinks of all the coaches and all the stuff that I put him through at his age, being 17 right now?
I think he sees it differently.
Why?
I don't know. I think it's because he saw that I went through it and now he's going through it. And I guess he doesn't have such a bad view about it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How many of your friends do you know, not from work, but from school or college, have mentors or have coaches working with them?
Well, there's a lot of different types of mentors. There's not just one
Mm.
specific type of mentor. There's not a mentor isn't just someone who teaches you mindset or whatever it may be, but it's
Yeah.
someone who's actually training you on an actual physical, physical skill that you're doing. Like a basketball coach is a mentor. You can consider that a mentor.
Mhm.
So I don't know. How many of my friends have a mentor? It's I think a lot of them do have mentors. I think a good amount do because one was in finance, one of them is in construction management, another one is, an entrepreneur. So they all have different types of mentors. Like for one of my friends, his father, I believe, is his mentor.
Yeah.
Because he's in construction management, so he wants to do that.
Mhm.
So, there's a mentor right there. So
And in the general community with the Latinos, what do you think the perception is of a mentor?
a mentor. I think
With
it I
different
think I
communities.
think it's I think it's seen as a waste of money. I think it's that simple, like why pay them to do it when I can just go do it, learn it myself.
Wow, you just hit it hard because that's the belief of the grown-ups, not the belief of our generation. I could do it. Why do I need help? Why do I have to pay somebody? I can do it on my own. I can figure it out. And that comes back, thank you, Avelino, for sharing. That comes back to the belief of doing everything ourselves. What's the biggest thing that Avelino shared with us in terms of the difference of the other communities doing stuff in teams, in groups? Because they have that belief, and in our belief is a belief like, why am I gonna pay? Like, why isn't it waste? I'm like, why? Like, this person doesn't have to tell me what I have to do. Or ego. But again, it's not our fault. It's just the way our culture or community was brought up. It's not your parents' fault. They try to do the best they can with what they have. But now you know better. So now it's up to you if you want to make a decision or not. So before we end up our meeting today, let me go back and recap what I shared so far. So the US has a $33.17 trillion in debt. A million seconds, it's 12 days. A billion second is 32 years. And a trillion second is 31,688. What does that mean to you? This is $1 million. This is $1 billion. This is $1 trillion. You can't even see the guy there. The US printed almost 4 times this amount in 2020 during the pandemic. We didn't talk about inflation, but what does that mean to you? Like why should you care about how much debt the US have? Why should you care? Because inflation is something that we cannot get rid of. What is inflation? The cost of living, how much an egg costs, how much a milk, gas, something that you guys cannot avoid. And please, the myth of not taking risk with your money, that's what's going to get you guys behind. I don't want to go against what your parents' advice is telling you. You got to respect and love your parents and your family members and people who you love and adore, but you don't have to follow on their footsteps. You got to love them and respect them, but you have to make educated choices for your own money. Because if you don't invest and if you don't take the risk, there's no way you're going to get ahead in life. And how is that going to affect you? When you go to work and they take 50% of your paycheck and you're only able to live off the 50%. That's why this is so important. Understanding what $1 trillion, how much debt we have in this country. This is why it's so important for you guys to realize and not just pretend that you don't care. You do care, because when you go to work, they can take a lot of money from your paycheck, and how you're gonna buy eggs, how you're gonna leave that dignity in life to be able to support yourself or to support your family. This is a few ways to make $1 million. On the next class, I'm gonna show you guys how you guys can start, but we're gonna break this down because you guys have so much opportunity, but you need the map. That's why I'm here. That's why Avelino's here. That's why we're putting up these classes to show you guys how you can make $1 million. Why did I show you the tax bracket? Because I want you to realize back in the 70s, there was a 71% tax. Most of your parents are immigrants. We came to this country and we don't know the history. We don't understand the laws. We don't understand a lot of stuff. But that does not mean that you have to keep on being innocent. You guys cannot afford to be ignorant. No. My generation, first immigrant generation, we do, because we came for work. So we get a free pass. Because we came here to support you guys and give you guys shelter and food. So we didn't have the time to learn all of this, but you guys do. So it's your responsibility to acknowledge. In 1955, the tax bracket was 91%. Think about living off 10% of your income. Let that sink in. Okay? We talked about Joe and Bob. Joe started investing at age 19. He only invested $300 per month. He only did it for 8 years. $30,000 grew to 1.8 million. Bob started until age 27. He had to invest for 20-something years to have less money than Joe. The goal here is to have income for life. And that's what we're going to talk about in the next class. I don't want to just be a class, or I don't want to give you guys just a class where we're giving you a bunch of content. I want results. And it all started with what Alondra shared, that she saw that it's possible. It's not a crazy number. I can make it happen. That's all it takes, a belief. Because if she had said, oh, no, Tia, it seems like, oh my God, like, oh, no, cuando, like, oh, there's no way. She did not say that. And however, she doesn't know how she's going to do it now because she has life. She has a belief. Well, that's what we need, a belief. We don't need to know how we're going to make it happen. We just need a belief. This is how I show you how compound works. If you save $1 and $1 doubles every year, if we become educated in taxes and we don't blame Uncle Sam or the government, and we don't play the victim, and we take responsibility over taxes and we become happy taxpayers, our money's gonna grow faster. If we whine and complain and be the victim, that money, instead of growing to 1 million, could only leave you with 28,000. And it starts just with the belief. We're also going to talk about asset allocation. So I'm going to show you guys how to create 3 buckets. And I don't care who's my youngest one here. I think it's Fetty. Fetty's going to be 15. I don't care if you're 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. You got to learn these stuff now, because the sooner that you make sense of it, the faster you're going to be able to be free from your parents' house and have the flexibility to live free and travel to whatever you want to travel, or buy the clothes that you want to buy, or buy. Hey, makeup is so expensive. Oh my goodness. It's like I you guys know me. I don't wear makeup, but my nieces took me to the store one time, and I was like, it was like $500. girls like with all the makeup and like how did the hell they do it? Like if they can buy so much makeup, they can save this. And if they understand the power of having $1 million at a very early age, they're gonna be able to buy more makeup. So we gotta figure it out. So we're gonna talk about asset allocation. We're gonna talk about the percentages. And we're gonna keep on talking about more stuff. So I'm gonna start with you, Alan. So what do you took from today? What is your takeaway from today? Besides your mom putting you on the spot for the very first time. I can't see you. I need to see you. Sorry. Thank you.
So I don't know why, but like the Tony Robbins video just stuck with me.
Mm,
Like the what's it called? The no, the discipline. Like is a pattern basically.
mhm.
So that stuck with me. That's what I took away.
Nice. Thank you, mi amor. Thank you for sharing. Alondra, thank you for your contribution. I know I put you on the spot too, but you were your natural. So this is for you. I'm so proud of you. So what are you taking away from today?
That it's very doable. And again, we're not educated, you think it's like really hard. I mean, for some people it could be really hard, but if you really want it, you could do it.
Nice, nice. I love it. That is what's doable.
Make $1 million.
Hey, thank you, Mija, for sharing. Sorry, I get too
Of
excited.
course.
Thank you. Avelino, what are you taking away from today? I'm such a happy, like today is gonna be amazing. Sorry.
I think for me, what I realized is that when Tony Robbins kind of talked about patterns, go back to Alan, I kind of didn't really understand it. I was like, what does he mean by patterns? But I think now really me cayó el 20 where it's like it's ultimately just learning. Like you learn from your mistakes and you build off that thing you learned from and you apply those things that you learned from. So it's just learning. That's what it
Oh,
is.
wow. Wow. I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you, mi amor. Paola, you don't have to turn on the camera, mija, but do you have any takeaways? Or did any of this stuff make sense?
Hi tía, first
Hi, mija. Thank you for being here.
yeah, de nada. But I think I really did. I used to think that like honestly, I was like, damn, like I'm never gonna make $1 million in my life. Like that seems so far away from de mi alcance, pues, ¿verdad?
Uh-huh.
But now that I really look at it, and like my sister said, that it's actually not that bad. Like it's something you actually can do. It's something you can achieve, you know. But yeah, that was kind of what I took from it.
So fast and so easy. Thank you, mija. Christian, you don't have to turn on the camera, but did you take anything from today? Did it make sense at all?
Yeah, it kind of did. I saw it when Tony Robbins said about like patterns. I looked at more like patterns in making money. Like if you follow a pattern in making money, it eventually gets easier. Yeah,
Wow.
that's how I saw it.
What do you think about risk? What do you think about the compounding and what I talked about, the taxes and how your money can double with tax and without tax? What do you think about that?
Well, me personally, I don't know that much about taxes, but I feel like if I really get into it and learn more about taxes, you could like use it to your advantage in a kind of way.
To grow your money. Will I see you in the next class?
Yeah.
Thank you, Christian. Thank you for sharing. Aldo wants to say hi to his cousins. He's so excited. Aldo, you want to say hi to Ferry, Paola, Alondra? You want to say hi? Dile, I love you guys.
Love
Thank you, mi amor. Areli, what are you taking away from today? I know you were coming in and out, but you're still on mute, corazón.
Hi. My main takeaway is that sorry, we have the option of educating ourselves and being disciplined, or pay the price of not doing that, like not following your dreams, not following like the people that already make it. So I think it's a matter of choosing what's going to be your life. So that's my main takeaway.
Thank you, corazón. Thank you for sharing. Marcela, como mamá, ¿dónde estás? Ya te fuiste. Como mamá, todo este rollo que les eché, ¿qué piensas y qué te llevas? ¿Dónde estás? Ya no te veo. Hace rato te veía. ¿O ya se fue? A la 1, o a lo mejor está trabajando, ¿verdad? A las 2. ¿O Jorge, estás todavía o ya te fuiste? Alguno de los dos. ¿O ninguno de los dos?
I don't know if they know how to work Zoom that good.
Oh, trust me, they know. They have been in my classes, so they know. Yes, they know. Ellos saben.
Sí, aquí
Estoy.
Ah, ¿ya ves?
Alondra, no me andes quemando tan feo.
Girl, where were you?
Wow, espérame. Hola, mentada cámara.
No, si ellos ya son unos pros en el Zoom.
Ay,
Hola,
aquí
la
estoy.
mía.
Aquí estamos. Más que estos teléfonos ya necesitamos uno nuevo. Trabaja mucho, hija, para que cooperes para la compañía.
¿Qué
Ok.
piensan ustedes? Todo el rollo que les eché a los muchachos hoy.
Pues primeramente, Esmeralda, muchas gracias otra vez porque, pues sí, como dices tú, no tenemos nosotros la información para todo esto y a uno como papá, pues no le creen. Ah, vas a empezar, ya vas a empezar con eso. Yo no estoy para eso. Yo quiero esto, yo quiero lo otro y no nos creen. Entonces yo siempre les decía, oh, ¿sabes con lo que me salen? Ya vas con tu Tony Robbins. Le digo, no voy con mi Tony Robbins. Yo voy a decirles lo que yo he aprendido. Yo quiero que ustedes lo aprendan también porque todos me dicen lo mismo, yo no soy un business person, yo voy para otra cosa. Le digo, no es que quiera yo que seas un business person, quiero que tengas estrategias para la vida que te ayuden a salir adelante. ¿Entiendes? Yo no quiero que pasen por todo lo que nosotros pasamos. Eso es lo único, que no tropiecen con la misma piedra que nosotros ya pasamos. Yo nomás les quiero limpiar el camino para que ustedes sigan derecho, pero si no quieren, pues órale pues, fíjense. Eso es, pero a mí sí me da que estén mis hijos aquí en la clase y me llena de emoción porque de ti sí lo van a escuchar, de cualquier otra gente, de mí no. Así me voy a desgastar la vida diciéndoles y diciéndoles, hagan esto y me van a ignorar. Es decir, trabaja tú y yo agarro el beneficio, pero no me digas a mí qué tengo que hacer. Yo ya sé lo que tengo que hacer. Pero gracias por esto y qué bueno, ojalá más muchachos se metieran y entendieran en realidad lo que es esto, que están bien a tiempo. Yo les digo a mis hijos, no malgasten su dinero, inviertan en algo, hagan un negocio aunque sea chiquito, vendan dulces, lo que sea, pero que generen dinero. ¿Me entiendes? Yo en mi negocio, lo que estamos haciendo ahorita, a lo mejor para ellos es algo que no tiene sentido, pero yo me los llevo a vender conmigo. Ahí está Londra, que les diga, no les gusta porque se salen de su zona de confort, de que a veces tienen que dejar de hacer cosas por estar allá. Y a veces hasta se me vienen temprano porque, ay, nos está vendiendo mucho y se cierran y se vienen. Les digo, no, es que no es eso. Yo no lo hago porque quiera avergonzarlos ni porque nada, porque tienen que aprender que en la vida se tiene que trabajar para tener lo que uno tiene. Porque a lo mejor nosotros estamos empezando ahorita y es difícil, porque aclientarte en un negocio es muy difícil, ¿verdad? Que la gente crea en ti. Pero no lo hago porque quiero avergonzarlos, quiero que estén preparados para la vida. Si alguna cosa no les funciona, tengan otra segunda opción de dónde ver que hay dinero. ¿Ves? Porque pueden decidir tener una carrera y ojalá yo, mi meta en ellos ya lo tengo escrito y lo tengo dicho, van a ser exitosos en lo que ellos deciden hacer, pero uno nunca sabe lo que pueda pasar. Uno nunca sabe, entonces que ellos vean que hay una segunda lugar de donde echar mano, que no tengan vergüenza de ir a un lugar a presentar algo, a decir yo vendo esto, yo hago esto, qué sé yo, todo eso. Por eso es que lo hago, porque en realidad no voy a decir, ay, no necesito que me ayuden. Mis hijos me ayudan mucho, gracias a Dios. Me ayudan mucho en mi negocio porque yo necesito ayuda para empaquetar, para ir a vender. A veces que nos salen 2 eventos en el mismo día y unos le dan para un lado, nosotros le damos para otro y y me ayudan mucho, pero ellos no van a entender que lo que hacemos es nomás quererlos preparar para que estén listos para la vida.
Qué
Ujú.
maravilloso, qué maravilloso. Gracias por compartir. Y eso me trajiste uno de de los consejos que me dio uno de mis mentores, que decía, yo estaba trabajando con él cuando llegó la pandemia. O volvemos a
Ajá.
lo mismo. En la pandemia, ¿quién va a estar pagando a un mentor o a un coach para que te digas? Es cuando el dinero según estaba más apretado. Y yo empecé a trabajar con él y me decía, Esmeralda, yo tengo 10 entradas de dinero. Es maestro, es coach, tiene un montón de cosas. Tengo 10 entradas de dinero. Llegó la pandemia, me quitó 6, pero me quedaron 4.
Es lo que, porque Paola es la más y aquí me estoy yendo. Enfócate en un solo negocio y hazlo bien, no abras una cosa y otra, porque no les
¡Ay,
gusta
Abelino!
que les
¡Ay,
diga yo, mija,
Abelino!
ay, hija, Amara, es que no sabes hacer no puedes hacer una cosa y si no lo haces, le digo, mija, si yo siento que lo puedo hacer, es porque lo voy a hacer, no voy a hacer una cosa a medias, yo sé lo que estoy haciendo. O sea, no nací ayer, no nací ayer para no saber en qué me voy a meter. Es como ahorita, pues todavía Jorge y yo tenemos trabajo de tiempo completo, no hemos podido, pero para allá vamos, ¿verdad? Entonces, ya sea él o sea yo, el primero que dejemos de trabajar para dedicarnos 100% a lo que estamos haciendo. Pero yo no soy a veces que platicamos, no es que necesitamos empezar a hacer o a meter otra cosa, porque como vamos a vender y nomás vendemos el puro paper, a veces dice Jorge, es que tenemos que aprovechar el espacio de meter otra cosa porque ya estamos ahí. Y la chiquilla luego, Paola, no, primero enfócate en esto bien y después ya metes otra cosa. ¿Para qué vas a hacer? Ni haces bien una cosa, ni haces bien la otra. Digo, bueno, pues a veces sí, me digo, bueno, ¿a ti qué te importa? Tú nomás vas a ir a vender y se acabó. Es todo lo que vas a hacer.
Sí.
Pero ellos lo hacen pues porque, y te voy a decir que Paola no va mucho con nosotros, Alondra sí, y Feri son las que más están a eso. Feri es la que cobra, la que se encarga del dinero, entonces ella, Alondra es la que hace ¿cómo se dice? El customer service también, entonces que me salen caras porque como son bilingües dicen que tengo que pagarles doble.
Esta muchachada, pero ¿saben qué? Fíjense lo que aquí nos está dando, sin querer queriendo, nos está dando el ejemplo Marcela. ¿Qué fue lo que les dije hace meses que fue a Alondra? Cuando tú empiezas a hacer cosas nuevas, empiezas a recibir crítica de tus amistades y de tu propia familia. Abelino todo el tiempo me está regañando. Abelino y Paola están cortados los dos con la misma tijera. Dejarán de ser primos. Todo el tiempo me está regañando, todo el tiempo me está diciendo, amá, es que esto, amá, es que esto, amá, es que esto. Todo el tiempo
Pero hay una razón por qué te digo eso.
Ya entró,
No nomás me
ya
digas
entró
que
a
te digo porque
defenderse.
no.
¿Qué dices?
There's a reason. There's a
Okay.
reason I tell you that. Hay una razón por qué te digo eso.
Ay, no, mi amor, ay, no, pero para eso voy, para eso voy. Cuando nosotros estamos haciendo cosas, se va a recibir la crítica. Se va a recibir la crítica, se va a recibir los consejos, porque al final del día ni Paola ni Abelino quieren algo malo para sus madres, ¿no? O sea, ellos quieren lo mejor para nosotros, pero aquí es bien importante entender una cosa. Cuando ellos están dándonos esos consejos o ese advice, acuérdense que ellos lo escucharon o lo creyeron de alguien más. Voy a repetir lo que acabo de decir. ¿Qué dijiste que somos? No lo voy a decir yo, lo va a decir él. ¿Qué dijiste que somos? Que somos con la gente que nos juntamos o ¿cómo lo dijiste, Belino? We are who we're hanging out with. Remember when you said that?
Yeah, I mean, we are who we hang around with.
We are who we hang around with. Entonces aquí las creencias y las percepciones las adoptamos de otras personas y las traemos inconscientemente. Yo le planté una nueva esperanza a Alondra, me voy otra vez contigo, hija, indirectamente a un nuevo belief that something that you thought it wasn't possible and now you see that it's not crazy. Pero hasta que no lo escuchamos de alguien más, empezamos a tener ese belief de que algo se puede hacer y ustedes lo tienen, no voy a decir que la tienen más fácil, porque no la tienen más fácil. Sus papás y nosotros la tuvimos más fácil porque tuvimos mucha hambre y mucha necesidad. Mas, sin embargo, ustedes están en otra era donde todo está aquí y eso lo hace que sea más difícil tomar la decisión y querer que sea perfecto, porque esto nos enseña que todo tiene que ser perfecto y que no nos podemos equivocar. Los dejo, yo sé que dije que nada más iban a ser 2 horas. Muchísimas gracias a todos por estar aquí. Mis miembros de mi escuela van a tener la grabación de esta clase en la plataforma. And we're launching MAPS University online as well. It's gonna be available in September. I really hope that you guys help me spread the word in the youth, in the new generation. And looking forward to see everybody on the next class because I'm going to teach you how to make those $300 so we can start building $1 million. We don't have to make $1 million right now. We just need $3,600 a year. That's it. That's it. And it is super doable. Cuídense mucho y gracias a todos por estar conmigo este domingo. Feliz fin de semana, cuídense, gracias hijos míos, gracias Alondra, gracias a todos que participaron. Feliz fin de semana. Bye.